Hello, everyone. That is Jace, and I am Vincent, and we're from Source Elements, and we are here today to tell you about some new updates to the Source-Nexus Suite and some cool features that have been released recently on different products, different applications as part of that suite. Jace, do you want to tell us more?
Yeah, thank you, Vincent, and welcome everybody. Yeah, today we're going to be going over some of the new features in the upcoming Source-Nexus Suite update that should be out very soon. And we're also going to go through some features from the previous updates, and in case you missed any of them. And we have some cool stuff to show you, and we're going to do some demos, and yeah, should be a lot of fun. Yeah, Vincent, if you want to show my screen. So the major update in this upcoming Source-Nexus Suite update is a standalone app version of the Source-Nexus Review plugin. And this is going to be really useful for a few different reasons. The main one being that you don't need to run it in your DAW, and so that opens up what you can do with it and makes it more flexible. For example, if you're trying to share audio from another application that's not a DAW or Pro Tools, then now you can run it completely standalone, no DAW required. And it has a new feature that allows you to capture your system audio. So you can share audio from any application on your computer, and it's just as if any of your guests on your remote session are there with you, and they can hear everything that you hear from your system. So, yeah, it just allows you to share audio from even more sources now, just directly from Source-Nexus Review. So the first thing that I wanted to show you, so since it's a standalone application, it has its own audio settings here, and I'm just going to go ahead and open that up and just take a quick look. So you'll just need to set your audio input and output, and you have a sample rate and buffer size option here too. Um, the Another really useful way of using this is if you are still sharing audio from Pro Tools or your DAW, if you run Source-Nexus Review standalone outside of it, first of all, it keeps the communication lines open even when you're switching sessions or if you have to restart your DAW for any reason. It's not going to interrupt the audio that's coming and going in your remote meeting platform, or if you're using Source-Nexus Gateway, that stays live the whole time. So it just makes the sessions flow a lot smoother, and you're not going to experience interruptions in the communications audio as if you were using Source-Nexus Review as a plugin in your session. Another really useful feature is since we have our own buffer size in the Source-Nexus Review standalone, you can set a different buffer size here than what you're using in your DAW. So that allows you to use a higher buffer size, like say, for example, if you're... Oh, is someone having an issue with the stream? Anyway, I just have to restart the session or the video. Um, so if you wanted to use a higher buffer size in Pro Tools, for example, say you have a really large session and you just want that higher buffer size just to make everything run more smoothly, you can do that and then set a lower buffer size in the Source-Nexus Review standalone, which will keep the latency down on the communications audio and separate from your Pro Tools session. So that's a really useful way of using this. And yeah, so what I'm going to do next is kind of simulate how you might use this in a real world scenario. So me and Vincent are going to jump on the Source-Nexus gateway, and then I'm going to share some audio from some Pro Tools sessions and some other sources, and we can see how it's all working. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Source-Nexus gateway, and to do that, all I need to do is click the Source-Nexus button here at the bottom where all my audio is being routed to here. So if I click this, it's going to open it up. Let me bring that over to my screen. And here we are at the login screen. So I'm already logged in here. So all I have to do is click Start Session. And I'm going to go ahead and unmute my mic. This is the chat settings preview. So let me just go through real quick just to make sure all my settings are correct before I join the session. So it already has my display name saved here, but you can put in your name so that you're labeled for your guests in your session. And my web camera, everything looks good. I have my background blur on. For my input and output, I'm using the to Nexus Chat for my microphone and from Nexus Chat for my speaker output. And what that does is it connects the audio from the Nexus Gateway session into the Source-Nexus Review standalone app. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK and join the session. It all looks good. All right, and there's Vincent already there. So, hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. So yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I can see you, and everything looks good on the gateway.
Awesome.
So yeah, then in order to share my broadcast audio, at the top of the window here, we have the separate audio broadcasting module, and this keeps the audio from my session or from my computer, any of the audio that I'm sharing that I want to be in high quality, separate from just my microphone audio. So in this case, I have this, so there's a high quality audio setting for the chat that can be used. But in this case, since I'm just sending my microphone, I don't necessarily need to use it, and I can take advantage of the echo cancellation and noise suppression by leaving that off. If I enabled it, the audio quality would be better, but then I'd have to be more aware of any kind of audio feedback because there wouldn't be any audio or noise suppression or echo cancellation. You might want to use that if you do want to get a high quality audio feed from one of your guests. But yeah, in this case, I'm just going to leave it off, and I'm going to start broadcasting my audio now to the session. So that's already coming in through the to Nexus broadcast audio device, which is coming from Source-Nexus Review over here. So yeah, I think we're all set here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up a Pro Tools session here and listen to some audio together. And yeah, if we were working on a project, then this would be a very easy way for us to look at and review a mix in Pro Tools, or it could be any DAW, and we'll see in a little bit too, but we can review audio from any application on the computer now with the new features in Source-Nexus Review. So yeah, why don't I just hit play and let's check out this track. Oh, one quick thing I should mention. Because we have Source-Nexus Review running standalone outside of the Pro Tools session, in order to get the audio in there, normally I could use an instance of Source-Nexus Review right there on my mix bus or my master fader, but in this case I'm just going to use an instance of Source-Nexus IO, and I'm just going to send it out through the Source-Nexus A virtual device, and that's my input here in the standalone. And another quick note about that, so you have two options here as far as monitoring your audio now, because the audio is going to get sent into the Nexus Review standalone. So I could either monitor it through my mix channel here, or I can just monitor it through Pro Tools like normal. If I wanted to do that, I would just want to make sure I hit the pass-through button on the Nexus IO plugin so that I'd be able to hear it. And if I was doing it that way, I would want to mute the mix channel here in the Source-Nexus Review standalone. Otherwise, I would end up hearing a doubling of the audio. So in this case, I'm going to do it the other way, though. I'm going to monitor it through there and just leave the pass-through off, and then that should be all good.
Cool.
So yeah, why don't I play some audio here and we can check it out. All right, are you hearing that?
I am.
Perfect. And yeah, why don't we just take a look? Maybe we can kind of...
Yeah, if you could find that kick drum in that section.
Yeah, let's see.
That
maybe
build-up
can,
section. feel like it might be better with just that hi-hat.
Yeah, let's see. I might have to look around a little bit here. Oh, okay, there we go.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah, I think this part definitely, once we get to the next part, I think maybe cutting out the kick a little early so that when it comes back in, it's gonna hit a little bit harder.
Yeah, I
have
agree.
More of an impact.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. That sounded pretty good.
Cool. So Jace, do you want to play me that other thing you were working on?
Yeah, definitely. So let me switch sessions here. I got another mix that I wanted to share. So yeah, and this is where this comes in handy. So I'm gonna switch sessions, but we're gonna stay connected this whole time, even though I'm closing my Pro Tools session. If we weren't using the Nexus Review standalone, then I would have to wait for my next session to load up fully. And I might even, if I'm not already prepared, I might have to create an instance of Nexus Review on the mix channel. Luckily, that's a really quick thing to do, but this is even better. Let me go ahead and switch to my other session, and while Pro Tools is doing its thing, yep, we're still here. We're still connected and talking, so we can just,
yeah, I'm really
wait
excited.
for Pro Tools.
I'm really excited to hear how that Warforged song turned out.
Yeah.
I heard that demo a while ago. I want to hear that new mix.
This is a demo version and a final mix version of one of the songs from my band's album that we're working on. And yeah, so I just have these two tracks in this session. I'm doing something very similar. I just have the Nexus IO plugin here on my master fader to get the audio into the Nexus Review standalone. I actually need to change my audio device here first, though. All right, that should be all set now. And I've done something else really cool here with another one of the plugins in Source-Nexus Suite. So I have a couple instances of Source-Nexus mute on my two tracks in my session. And the way I have them set up and what I'm going to do is, in order to A/B the two different mixes, I've assigned a key on my keyboard to these instances of mute on, so that when I hit play, it's going to play the first mix, and then when I hit that key that I've assigned, it's going to switch to the other mix. So we're only hearing one at a time, but I can seamlessly just press a button on my keyboard to A/B them back and forth. So real quick, let me just show you how I did that. So in this first track, I have an instance of mute on here, and basically on all the different play states, stop, record, and play, it's doing nothing. It's just letting the audio play as it would normally. But now on the key command, I've assigned it to the apostrophe key on my keyboard. You can assign it to any key you want, but when I press that key now, it's going to mute that track, and I'll show you. I'm pressing the key now, and I'm holding it. So this is a momentary switch, and it's, well, if it was playing, then it would be muted, but if I let go, it goes back to that. Now on the second track, on the second mix, I've done it in the opposite way. So on the different playback states, it's going to be muted now, just normally. But then as soon as I hit that apostrophe key, it's going to unmute this track. So basically what's happening is when I hit that key, it mutes the first track and unmutes the second. And then when I release it, it unmutes the first track and then mutes the second one again. So I can just hit that key to easily A/B those two tracks. So yeah, why don't we take a listen, and we can hear the difference in the two versions. The first version is a demo version, so it's much rougher, and then you can hear, when I switch to the mix, that it's come a long way. So here we go. I'm gonna hit playback here. You can listen to it for a few seconds. So this is the demo track, and real quick, I'm gonna switch. And you can hear just,
whoa,
yeah, much more atmosphere. Yeah, much more refined mix that we have here.
Yeah, for
On the
sure.
demo version too, there's not even any vocals on it, so it's really just the guitars and the drums and all the other instruments. But yeah, it's definitely very rough. And then we switched to the final version, and yeah, there you go.
Wow. The
Nice.
new version sounds great, man.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Jace, now I know we were talking earlier and you were telling me about another new function in Mute On where you can have a separate latch command and momentary.
Yeah, so they're in the most recent update for Source-Nexus Suite that came out at the end of last year. We added a couple new features to the Mute On plugin, and let me show you those real quick. So for the key and MIDI commands, now there's a new latch assignable command for those. So yeah, previously it was just the momentary switch, which is what I was using just now to A/B the tracks. So you have to, or if you were using this as a talkback switch, that would be something you'd be familiar with, the way a talkback switch works. You press the key to talk, and then you release it, excuse me, to mute it again. So now we have a latch command, so another very common feature on talkback switches. And you can assign it to a completely separate key. So here, let me assign this to, something. I'll assign it to the slash key, and yep, there it is. So now I'm going to press the slash key and release it, and now we're latched on unmute. So I can do it this way too for A being the tracks. If I switched, or if I assigned the same thing on the other instance of mute on here, let me go and do that. Okay, so now when I hit the latch, it's going to work the same way, A being the tracks, but I can just press it and then let the other one play, and then when I'm ready, I can press it again to switch back if I want. That way I'm not holding down the key the whole time if I do want to have the second track playing for an extended period of time in this case. So it just gives you some more flexibility with how you can use it, and more customizability as well. And then
Awesome.
the other feature that we added in the most recent update is for MIDI. So MIDI also has the latch command, but now you can select the MIDI channel that you're receiving the MIDI commands on to control the MIDI command in mute on. And that again just makes it even more flexible, and the main reason you would want to even use that is just to make sure that you're not interfering with any of your other MIDI devices. You can make sure that the MIDI commands for mute on are on their own channel, so it's not going to interfere with anything else.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, and so the one other thing I wanted to show is the system audio capture feature in Source-Nexus Review. So let me just get this Pro Tools session out of the way and bring Source-Nexus Review back here. So if I go to the plugin settings here in the bottom right corner, there's a couple new options now, and these are going to be useful for sharing your system audio. So the first is showing the system audio channels. So if you turn that on, now we have these new channels that have come into the interface, and they're going to show the audio from your system, and it keeps them in a separate channel, so you can change the level of them how you want, and make sure you're managing them and keeping them separate from any of the other audio that's going out into your session. The one on the right here is what's going to go out to your broadcast, and then the one on the left is for monitoring, so you can still hear the audio. Going back to the settings, now I just need to turn on the automatic system audio capture, and now it's going to pick up any audio that's going to my system output. So let me bring up just a YouTube video, and I can share the audio from that now with just the press of a button, basically. One second. Here we go. Now, this is also going to be useful, for example, if you wanted to share, maybe you just wanted to share the audio from a file on your system and you don't want to import it into your DAW. You can just play it directly from Finder, or you can open it up in VLC or the music app, iTunes, whatever your preferred media player is. You don't have to think about it. You can just open up the file. You're going to hear it, and it's going to get sent out to your guests so that they can hear the audio too. So you're just sharing everything that you're hearing on your system in real time. Um, so let me, I have a YouTube video here that I've already brought up, and it's just a stereo audio test. But yeah, just to show you, I'm going to hit play on it, and the audio is already getting sent out. So that audio should just be on the left channel right now, and then we're going to switch to the right channel. There we go. Great. So we got the stereo audio working. That sounds good.
Working perfectly
Great.
over here.
Yeah. Perfect. Nice. All right. Well,
Awesome.
yeah,
And so,
again, that just makes it super easy to share your system audio. And, as soon as you turn off the setting or close the Nexus Review standalone app, all your audio settings are going to go back to exactly how they were before. And yeah,
that's so cool.
sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, and it should also be known that like how we're sending audio to this stream right now is through that Nexus Review application, that
Yep,
standalone Nexus Review. So
exactly.
everything all of you are hearing is going through that Nexus Review.
Yeah, exactly. I've been using it for this live stream right now. You can see the levels. Everything in the two Nexus broadcast is, and the system audio channel here are all going out to the stream right now. So yeah, it's useful for many different purposes, and it's great here, especially because I can control the levels for each of these. To make sure that I'm not too loud, and to make sure that the audio I'm sharing isn't too loud to like overshadow me. Source-Nexus Review also has a built-in dim switch, which is useful if you're using the talkback switch. I've just had mine open this whole time, but if you do use the talkback switch, it will automatically dim the audio too, just to make sure you're able to be heard over the audio that you're sharing.
Yeah, I mean, and this is super useful. I mean, just even outside of working with remote clients, maybe you're doing some sort of a stream making music on Twitch or YouTube or whatever it might be. Like just having this outside of your DAW allows you to just keep going and keep going. You can open up a different project. You can start a project from scratch without having any
Hmm.
of the routing done yet. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you
very
could,
true. Yeah, it has a lot of possibilities and capabilities, and it's kind of just like a little mixer that you can have running that aggregates audio from many different sources. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's perfect for that. It's perfect for that. All right, so cool. I think now is about the time where we can take some questions, right? Unless you had any. Oh, actually, there are some new features of the gateway we wanted to go over.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
So why don't we go there and we'll show that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Source-Nexus Gateway has some brand new features as well. And Source-Nexus Gateway, we put out updates for it pretty frequently. Sometimes they get missed, but yeah, there's some cool new features, and we have some really cool new features upcoming, which we'll talk about a little bit. But yeah, most recently here, if I hover over Vincent's window here, there's some new options for the video windows in your session. So say I just Vincent's a handsome guy. Maybe I really want to I really want to see him a little bit bigger. So I can take his window and I can pin it so that it's the main window that I'm seeing now. And if there was a presentation window going, which here let me go ahead and just start a presentation. I'm just going to share my screen. Let's see, maybe I'll just grab my Pro Tool session here, and let me just bring it up so I can screen share this. So yeah, here's my Pro Tool session. So and then let's go back to the window. So yeah, if I want to keep an eye on him, I can pin his window so that he's gonna remain there until I unpin it. But I have some other options here too. Maybe I'm working on this Pro Tool session. I don't want to have the browser window open that's showing the Nexus gateway. So what I can do is I can use the picture-in-picture mode and pop him out. Now he's in his own window. I can minimize this and I can keep an eye on him while I'm working. And he's still able to see my Pro Tools window as I'm working on it here. And yeah, and then if I want to go back, I can just send him back in there, and here we are. And if I really want to only see him, I can full screen him.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're working on a mix or something, you're trying to do something collaboratively, like being able to see people's reactions in real time is very helpful,
Definitely, yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So
and we have some
awesome.
oh, sorry, what was that?
No, that's it. Keep going.
We got more features. Um, Yeah, so we have a few other new settings that are really useful, especially for specific workflows. So I'm just going to the settings window here from the little settings button here at the bottom. So there's a new mute all audio option that we've added, and this is going to be really useful if you're doing a session with Source Connect at the same time. So you have Source Connect open and you're connected to a remote talent, for example, and then you also have a Nexus Gateway session open with maybe some clients, but they also want to be able to see the talent as they're performing during the session. So they want the talent is also in there, but the talent's already getting all the audio from the session through Source Connect, so they don't need any audio from Nexus Gateway. They can mute all the audio just by flicking the switch here in the settings, and now they'll only have video from Nexus Gateway, and they'll have all the audio already coming through Source Connect. So that just makes that really easy. And if they want to unmute it for whatever reason, there's a big button here. You can just turn it back off, and you're good to go. Similarly, going back to the settings, you can also mute all video if you want to. Um, this is going to be mostly useful in the case that maybe your internet connection isn't the greatest and you're really only here for the audio, so you want to make sure the audio is coming through nice and clear without interruptions and anything like that. If you mute all the video, then it's going to cut down on the amount of bandwidth that you're using for the session. So, similarly, it disables the video from the video chat. The presentation is still going to be visible in this case, in case you do want to watch it. But if it's not important, you can turn it off too. And then similarly, you can undo the video just by hitting the button at the bottom, and now we're back.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's especially helpful too when you have, a lot of people in a session and maybe some of them don't have the best internet. Somebody's on a phone somewhere in the middle of nowhere or tethering to a cell phone, whatever it
Oh
might
yeah.
be, you
Yeah,
know?
the goal is to be able to use this in the best quality under almost any conditions you could think of. So, along with that, we also have video resolution settings that you can adjust. They should adjust automatically depending on, your network connection, but you can also manually change them. If you know your internet connection is not really going to be able to handle it, you could limit your send resolution, or you could limit the receive resolution that you're getting from your guests. And again, that just kind of helps you dial it in and make sure everything's going to run as stable as possible. We also have an option here to, if you don't want to see yourself in the session, my window's taking up a lot of space here in the window, and I don't necessarily need to look at myself. I can just disable that here also real quick, and that's another new feature that we have. And now I'm only seeing what I
Yeah.
what I care about.
And I Well, thank you. But I'm still seeing Jace in the gateway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. Jace, is there anything else that's new that we haven't talked about?
Well, we do have some new features that are planned and on the way. The most exciting new feature for Nexus Gateway is very soon. We'll be able to have more than 5 people in a Nexus Gateway session. So, that's something that a lot of people have been asking for, and we've been listening, and we know how important it is. I mean, sometimes you got a lot of people involved in a session, and you want to make sure they're all able to join in one place with the best possible quality. So, yeah, very soon we'll have that option, and yeah, it's really gonna open things up, I think.
Awesome. Well, I think we're ready for Q&A. We have some good questions here in the chat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go to that. Okay, so let me scroll up a little bit and get into this. So, Elliot asks when this update is going to be released.
Yeah, so it should be released very shortly. It should be within the next week, I would say. I can't give it a specific date, but we're trying to get it out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's cool. And some of
And
these features are already out, right?
yeah,
Some of
so
these features are already
all the
out, and
features
some are
that we
still to
just
come.
yeah, all the features we just went over on Source-Nexus Gateway, those are already out, and the Nexus Suite features that we were going over, so the Nexus Review standalone, those will be out. That'll be out very, very soon. So yeah, within a
Awesome.
week, I would say. And the mute on features that we were looking at, that's already available too in the current release version of Source-Nexus Suite. So you can download that now on the Source Elements website.
Awesome. And so Eric asks, how do we see video in a live review? So that depends on the kind of video, right? So you can share your screen and thus share video in Source-Nexus Gateway. But
Yeah.
you do have to remember that it is a separate audio ingest and a separate video ingest from the video, right? So they're not necessarily lockstep with one another. That sync is pretty good. But if you really want the best, video streaming for that critical video review, if you're working on a, major motion picture or something, then you'd really want something like Source Live, which would still broadcast to this gateway, and you would still be able to use all of the Nexus review functions that we've been talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
all of the mute on functions, whatever you wanted to use there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
um, and
Exactly.
and that kind of works the same way that it did when like Jace was sharing his screen. You would
Yeah.
see
Maybe
a window there.
you want to go back to my screen, and I can also
Yeah.
show you how you would do that in Nexus Gateway, because there's a couple options. There's a couple ways you can do this. Yeah. So first of all, why don't I let me see if I can bring up a video in. I'm not sure if I actually have one ready. Maybe yeah. I think I have one here. Um, and yeah, again, perfect for switching sessions while we're in the middle of this. So this might just take a second, but oh yeah, here we go. Okay, great. Oh, actually, I lied.
No
I don't
video.
think my video engine isn't working. I think so. That might not
Oh.
work, but that's okay because it works the same way regardless. Yeah. So in Nexus Gateway, you can use the presentation option. So you have two options here. You can either do a screen share, which allows you to select either a tab in your browser, any window on the computer. So your Pro Tools video engine window should show up here, and you can just select it directly, or you can just share your entire screen, of course, as well. The other option is you can share a separate video input. So if you select that, you'll see all your different options. So you can, it could be a web camera, it could be any kind of capture card, OBS virtual camera. That gives you a lot of options as well. You could run OBS at the same time and set up your video preview exactly how you want it. and that gives you a lot of control over everything, and then just send it off into here through the OBS virtual camera. So yeah, there's many different ways you can do it. And like you were saying, Vincent, Source Live, that's going to be the best option, especially when you want perfect video and audio sync. So for the best quality and sync, that's definitely the way to go. And yeah, and it connects automatically into Nexus Gateway, just like any of these other video sources, and it works seamlessly. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. So Noel asks, do the viewers need any paid items or just a login to participate in the session? So in this case, uh, I'm a participant in the session, and Jace just gave me his link and a pass key, and that's it. I don't need anything other than a Chrome browser, a microphone, and a pair of headphones or whatever, laptop speakers. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Or not even.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few different options for Nexus Gateway. So there is a free version, which all you need is a Source Elements account, and the free version is audio only. So there's no video, webcam video like we have now, or screen sharing available in the free version. But you do have high quality audio streaming and stereo available. Um, there's not a separate broadcasting option like we're seeing here at the top of my window. Oh, we're not looking at it right now, but there we go. Yeah, so the free version doesn't have the separate broadcasting option. But what you can do, I mentioned it earlier, you can, and I'll show you in the audio settings here. There is a stereo audio option that you can enable, and also the original audio, high quality audio option. So if you turn that on and turn on the stereo, then now you can send your high quality stereo audio just through your chat window for the free version of Source-Nexus Gateway. And then this version that we're on right now is included with Source-Nexus Suite. So if you subscribe to Source-Nexus Suite, you get the Source-Nexus Gateway, how we're using it now. You get all the plugins, everything we went over today, the
Plus more.
Source-Nexus review, plus more that we didn't actually go over. Yeah, so there's a lot included in the Source-Nexus Suite subscription, and so any guests that you want to join you on here, they don't need anything. They don't even need an account. You can send an email invite that'll just send them a link. They just open the link in their web browser or on their mobile device, and they're in. Or they can go to the Source-Nexus Gateway page and just put in your username and the passkey that you created for the session so that they can join. So
And Jace, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you sent me a email invite, I don't even need to put in the passkey.
that's correct. Yeah, yeah. So if you send the email invite, it's just one link. They click the link and they're ready to join.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So Eric asks if there's a video playback from the session as well as video for the chat. Yes, I guess we kind of went over that already. There's the video sharing, the screen sharing,
Mm.
and then there's the video chat,
Hmm.
and those are
Yep.
separate things.
Yes, exactly. So
Kind of
you
like,
have
kind of
two
like
video
with
sources.
exactly, and so kind of like with the audio, you have your broadcast path, and then you have your uh, communications path. Noel asks, I'm going to switch back this camera. Noel asks if do all the viewers hear the same mix from the host, or are they able to just mix elements to their taste? Yeah, so all the viewers would hear the same mix. It's two channels that are going into the broadcast path. There's really no adjustment for the viewer. There's obviously adjustment in the DAW
Mm.
for the mix
Hmm.
itself. So it wouldn't really be useful as everyone trying to make their own mix from something.
Yeah, yeah. It's not really possible. But that being said, you could kind of do something like that. Since you have these two separate audio streams, so I have my broadcast audio stream and I have my audio coming from my chat, I could send two different mixes potentially, and you know, a guest could mute one of them. So there's like a
Yeah.
separate mute button. You can mute the broadcast, or you could mute one of the guests. So in this case, if I wanted to mute Vincent, I have a volume slider here. I can just turn them all the way down. So yeah, you could actually do something like that. It would, it would only give you two mixes, and the guests wouldn't be able to really control anything themselves. But um, yeah, that's definitely possible.
Yeah. Okay, so M. Brown asks, could this be used as a substitute for a Zoom audio VO session with clients that don't have Source Connect, recording on Pro Tools with client monitoring via Zoom, playback from DAW? Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
you could totally do that. I mean, that's basically what the original audio setting is for, capturing some audio. You wouldn't have the fail safes and stuff that are built in Source Connect, of course, because it's a browser based connection.
Yeah.
But you do get pretty decent quality audio.
hmm Yeah, no, the
I
audio
would
quality,
I
when you
would
have high
say
quality turned on, is pretty good, and you have
I
some quality settings too.
yeah, and I would say no shade to Zoom, but I would say it's better than a Zoom connection for sure, and a lot more simple. A lot of people I speak to, they get weird artifacts no matter what setting they have turned on in Zoom.
Zoom does
And
a lot of audio processing, and one of the things that Source-Nexus Gateway is designed for is to minimize that as much as possible. So when you're using the original audio, high quality audio option, we're doing as little as possible to the audio. It's as unadulterated as we can
yeah,
make it before it goes out. So you're getting as close as possible to the real audio signal through there, and without a bunch of hoops to jump through. Zoom has a ton of audio settings that you have to fine tune to get.
and
And
know
even
what
then,
they
but even
mean.
then, yeah, it's like you still run into some audio issues and artifacts and noise cancellation and things that will disrupt.
Filtering and weird things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have you mentioned Chrome? Is that the proprietary browser? Yeah. So, I mean, you do want to use a Chrome-based browser here, but it doesn't have to be Chrome itself. It can be
Right.
any, Chromium. It can be Opera, Brave. I always forget the list of these,
There's a
but
lot of them. Yeah.
there are so many Chrome-based browsers
Yeah.
at this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, Chrome and any kind of Chromium-based browser is going to work the best to get the full feature set. But Source-Nexus Gateway is compatible with virtually any web browser. So, you could use Firefox, you could use Safari, you can use it on an iOS device, you can use it on Android.
Yeah,
There are some features.
there are some limitations.
Yeah, there's some limitations with using some browsers. So to get the full feature set, Chrome or a Chromium browser is recommended, especially for the host who has the most features, basically. But for guests, it doesn't matter as much. A guest, if they're just joining to listen or monitor the audio and be there like a client or something, really any browser will work.
Awesome. All right. Do we have any other questions before we go? I'm not seeing anything in the chat here. So I guess it's time to wrap up. All right. Thank you all for joining us. It's been great. Our pleasure, of course. And yeah, definitely find out more at sourceelements.com.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and yeah, you should if you're a Nexus subscriber, you should get a notification email when the update's available very soon. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Take care,
All
all.
right, thanks everyone.